NaNoWriMo, Preptober, a Monday video? What in the world is going on? Answers are coming up soon. Stay tuned. Hey all, Janae here, also known as the Well-Rounded Black Girl, back for another video. I hope you're happy to see me because I'm very happy to see you. Welcome if you are a newcomer, and welcome back if you're a returning member of the family. We're going to go ahead and get started with this video because a little bit of an explanation is due, I think. Okay, I am so excited to be filming this video right now because this is going to be the first video in a month-long series that I'm doing for the month of October. So I'm participating in NaNoWriMo this year, and therefore I'm in the middle of Preptober right now. And it's very likely that you have no clue what that means at all. If you do, bless you, welcome my people. But if not, don't worry, I'm going to go ahead and define the terms so that we're all on the same page, and then we can go from there. So first, let's talk about NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is short for National Novel Writing Month, and it's something that takes place every November. It's totally free, and it's just a time where people all over the world try to write a 50,000 word novel in the month of November. So obviously everybody's not writing one novel, everybody's writing their own thing. And with 30 days in November, that means writing on average 1,667 words per day. There is a great and really inspiring community around NaNoWriMo, so I'm definitely going to link the website down below if you're interested, and you just, if this is your first time hearing about it rather, or if you're just interested, whatever, check it out. There's so much more information there. There are forums. Even if you honestly aren't going to participate in NaNoWriMo, there's so many forums about writing in terms of technique, in terms of motivation, in terms of whatever honestly you would want to, or that you would be concerned with as a writer. There's a forum, there's a topic about it. So if you're an aspiring writer at all, or a writer in general, I definitely encourage you to check out the Nano forums if you are not familiar. Another great thing to note is that NaNoWriMo isn't a competition. Well, maybe it is, but you're really just competing with yourself. The only way to win NaNoWriMo is to write 50,000 words inside of the month of November. Other than that, you win. You're not competing against anyone else. So the community is also very motivating and inspirational. Everybody has the same goal, and we're all just kind of pushing forward. Now, some people can just sit down on November 1st with a general idea of their story, some characters in mind, and just write. And they just kind of take the month as it is and see where it takes them and see where their story goes. Those people are called pantsers, meaning that they write by the seat of their pants. Now, if you know me at all, you know that I am not a pantser. I am definitely what we call in the NaNoWriMo community a planner. I need an outline. I need to know who my characters are. I need to have really kind of concrete ideas about where the story is going before I can sit down and write, if I'm going to write that many words in a month. So for all of us planners out there, the month of October has been coined Preptober. I think that started a few years ago. And it's basically, obviously, the month of October when you are, sitting down, writing out your outline, fleshing out character backstory, trying to figure out how you're going to spend time wisely in November to get 50,000 words out in, the entirety of that month. Some people even start a little bit early in something that I've called Preptober. But I'm not that adventurous, and I'm not that much of a planner. I might get an idea in September, but I'm really going to spend time in October planning everything out. So now that we know what NaNoWriMo and Preptober are, what's with the series? So I'm going to be putting out a video every Monday in October, minus the 1st. That's already passed. It's gone. Can't get it back. So for the rest of the 4 Mondays in October, I'm going to be putting out a video kind of talking about my Preptober process. This one is just going to be about my NaNoWriMo story and kind of the journey that I've taken through NaNoWriMo, and a little bit about how I'm going to be overcoming some self-doubt in this process. My next video is probably going to focus on outlining and how to revise an outline. Next, I'm going to talk about character backstory and expositional scenes, scenes where you write out things that may not appear in the book, but just to kind of get an idea of who your characters are and how they interact. And then I think the last video is just going to be about how I'm going to try and schedule my life around NaNoWriMo this November. Okay, deep breath. Now that all of that intro is out of the way, this particular video, as I just mentioned, will be about my NaNoWriMo story. And by that, I don't mean the story that I'm actually writing, but I mean the process that I've taken through NaNoWriMo and just my experiences with it and how I'm going to be kind of confronting NaNoWriMo this year. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about how I'm going to be trying to overcome some of that self-doubt that's going to sneak up in the process. And notice I say I'm overcoming self-doubt and not that I have overcome self-doubt, because I think it's a continual process, and NaNoWriMo is really just one area in my life where I need to be working on that, but it is a great place to kind of get started and get my feet wet. So I first heard about NaNoWriMo, I want to say sometime in 2015, and even though I love to read and it's been a dream of mine to write short stories and write novels, whether or not I publish them, who knows, but I just want to kind of be able to put words down on a page and say, I wrote that. So as much as I wanted to do that for most of my life, I didn't really consider participating. For some reason, it just felt like a really serious undertaking, something serious authors were going to do, and I just kind of watched as other people partook of the experience, mostly via YouTube. So 2016 came around, and as we were creeping up on November, maybe, in like August-ish, September, I started hearing rumblings about Nano again, and I decided to go ahead and try it. I kept hearing that, you don't have to be a serious author, it's just for somebody who wants to write 50,000 words in a month. You don't have to want to take it any further than that. And so I decided to go ahead and try my hand at NaNoWriMo. And I outlined the story, came up with some characters, and I was pretty set to go. November came, I started writing, and for the first 2.5 weeks, I was good. I was actually pretty ahead of my goal. And then, I don't know, I just stopped writing. I took a day or two off to handle some personal business, and after that, it was the middle of the month. Everything was supposed to be on the downhill, but I felt like I was so behind. And then all of the excuses came in, and all of the self-doubt, and the consolation prize of, well, at least I tried. It was my first Nano. I didn't really expect to win anyway. At least I gave it a good effort. I got about 28,000 words in, I think, to that first story, and that's where I kind of petered out. November 2016 wasn't a great month overall in general, so I just decided to chalk it up to a learning experience and move forward. The next year came around, 2017, and as November started kicking around again, I started getting excited about NaNoWriMo. I had a fresh idea for a new story, and the story had actually been kicking around in my mind for a few months, so I said, this will be a great opportunity to get it all down and work from there. Spent all of October outlining, coming up with characters, all the same routine. Got to November, hit it hard again, was doing really well, and then about 2 weeks in again, life took over again, and I just stopped. A lot was going on in my personal life, and Nano took a back seat. And I even ended up writing a few less words than the previous year. I think I topped out at about 25K. And now here we are again. NaNoWriMo 2018 is upon us. We are in the middle of Preptober, and I have actually picked up the story that I tried to complete the first year I did NaNoWriMo. I've picked up the outline, dusted it off, reworked a few things. That is part of what I'm going to be talking about in my next video, my next series video. And I am here and ready and so excited to start the whole process all over again. And more than that, I'm ready to win. I'm ready to win NaNoWriMo. I'm ready to write 50,000 words in a month because it's something that I told myself that I wanted to do. Now, of course, with that definitive declaration comes all of the self-doubt, all of that has been kicking around in my head for so long. It's all rolling back in. One thing that I've come to understand about being human is that self-doubt is inevitable. We live in worlds that revolve around ourselves, and therefore we're constantly thinking about how we're being in the world. Comparing ourselves to other people and coming up lacking while they're really just doing the same thing, but only to themselves. When we live in this way, hyper-focused on ourselves and our ways of being, doubt creeps in because in a world with so many options, it's hard to know whether or not you're making the right decision at any given point in time. So So what does my self-doubt look like? You know, it looks like me rolling my eyes every time I hit a snag with my outline or with a character backstory that doesn't quite line up with the different changes that I've made. You know, rolling my eyes saying, you haven't done this successfully before. I don't know why you're putting all this effort, because you're just going to give up after 2 weeks anyway. Or it might look like me trying to schedule writing blocks in November and then, you know, suddenly trying to throw in something optional, you know, just in case, you know, I don't finish, at least November won't be a complete wash. And sometimes it's just honestly a running mantra in my head. You have messed this up before. You've never finished. I don't know why you think this is going to be any different from the past years. And this self-doubt, it can be crippling. It can make me want to just put my computer away and curl up in my bed with Netflix and a glass of wine, or a book, or some music, or anything that doesn't involve writing. But then I think about how much I've wanted to write a book in my life. I think about how excited I get when I'm in the flow of creativity, when, you know, writing or outlining this story. I think of the rich backstory that I'm creating for these characters kind of out of thin air. And I think about how much I want to know how their story ends, because just because I'm a planner doesn't mean that everything is written in stone. Some things are flexible and things can change. And that's also a journey that I'm looking forward to seeing my characters take in their actual story. I think about the fact that the idea that I can't finish NaNoWriMo is really just a story that I'm telling myself. And the fact is that I haven't completed NaNoWriMo yet. I haven't won it, but that has nothing to do with my ability to win it this year. And I think about future me and how much I want her to have the feeling of pride and accomplishment that comes with writing this novel and winning NaNoWriMo for the first time after 3 years. The real honest truth of it is that the only thing that makes this year different from past years is that it hasn't happened yet. And that means that I get to decide how it goes. I get to decide to plan correctly and to schedule correctly and to motivate myself in the middle of the month when everything just seems like, you know, it's been such a long slog and there's so much more time left. I get to decide to keep pushing this year in the way that I haven't decided to do or I hadn't decided to do in the past. I get to decide that I want the accomplishment of winning more than I want the consolation prize of at least I tried. Finishing this book means that I can write a book. And if I can write a book, I can write 3 books or 5 books or 27 books or however many books I want. I can decide that this is something that I want to do with my life and move from there. Or I can decide that writing books isn't for me. Maybe I'm just more satisfied reading them. But the point is, whatever discovery is on the other side of this win, I have to win to get to it. And that's more important to me than my stories about why I haven't done it in the past. The real way, and the only way that I know how at this moment to overcome my self-doubt, is just to push and create new stories and new facts that don't mesh with the story that I can't do this. Okay, I hope that little storytime-esque video helped someone out there. To my fellow NaNoWriMo participants, let me know in the comments how you're preparing, what you're doing. Are you overcoming any self-doubt? Is there anything that you have to put aside to be able to really motivate yourself and push through for this November? And if you're not interested in the writing piece, is there any other time that you've had to overcome self-doubt? What worked for you? Is there anything that, made that process a little bit easier? Let us know down in the comments. If you're interested in any more videos from me, either on self-awareness, leadership, growth, or just this month-long Preptober NaNoWriMo series, please consider subscribing, throw me a like on your way out, and don't forget to hit me up on social media so we can keep this conversation going in the future. That's all I have for this video, though. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!